I am Nick Shell. I am one of the leading YouTubers when it comes to the subject of hair loss. And people perceive me as an expert because I talk about this so much. But I think this video would even explain to some degree, maybe I'm accidentally a pseudo-expert at best. All right, here we go. I made a video. Norwood 1, so severe it's almost like Norwood 3. That was a pretty popular video. Mick had this to say, quote, I'm like a Norwood 2 with a vertex starting. I'm 52 years old. Is there such thing as a Norwood 2 vertex? I guess I'm there now, end quote. So my answer is ultimately yes. And actually, let me grab my chart real quick. All right, so yeah, here's my chart. And as far as the vertex goes, there we go. And as far as the vertex, meaning having that extra, well, look at this. Here's a Norwood 3, here's a Norwood vertex. Basically meaning that you're balding from the back too and starting from the top. And that whole, there's two different versions of I mean, a Norwood 3, and this, I think this picture does a good job of explaining it. Anyway, my answer is yes. You can be any Norwood and be vertex. You can be balding in the back and even start up top, but be Norwood 1. And I've noticed, there's a guy I know that I see in the gym at work, and he told me he's 67 years old. This guy's a Norwood 1. His hair actually all over is thick, but then in the back it's not a definite bald spot where you can totally see a scalp, but it's a noticeable, just that one spot. I was watching, The Staircase on Netflix. There was the main defense attorney. He's that same way. He's in his 60s or 70s. You'd think full head of hair, Norwood 1, thick hair, but then he's got the bald spot. And so this just only reinforces that there is no way to know if you're going to lose your hair. People come to me, they want answers. They want that confirmation that yes, you're losing your hair. No, you're not. And people still continue to email me, Instagram me, even though I said I'm not answering those emails anymore. Because ultimately, I've shared many times, the best way to kind of gauge whether you're going to lose your hair is you look at your photo of when you were 1 year old. That hairline's a projection of you at 35. Could you grow a full beard by the time you graduated high school? If so, again, you're more likely to be losing your hair, at that point in your life by age 35. Those are ways to know. Ask your barber. They'll know too. That's the best and only really advice I can give you as far as knowing how it goes. People want confirmation. They want to know their fate. And it's not that simple. You could be 52 years old and have a full head of hair, except it's starting to go back here. You could be 70 and then that happens. You could be Norwood 1.5. Can we say that's what Johnny Cash was? But then, man, the last decade of his life, he lost all of his hair all at once. There's no way of knowing it. And the only way you can win at this game is to, in your heart, truly think, just like Nick Shell always says and always has said, that it's a matter of you recognizing that your identity and masculinity and even confidence is not based on hair. Because if it is, your identity and confidence is going to disappear along with your hair. It's a matter of determining that now. Because what if right now you're 18 watching my channel, and you, for the next several decades, you get to keep all your hair. You may even be Norwood 1, and then bam, you turn 55, and comes the bald spot, or whatever it is. Is that, and it may be easy to think, well, that'll be long from now, I won't worry about it. But you might carry that with you your whole life thinking, oh, is it going to happen when I'm 30? Is it going to happen when I'm 40? The only way you can win at this game is to not let this bother you anymore and think, I am the same person with or without hair. I'll look different, but I'll reinvent myself. That is the Nick Shell teaching. But yeah, ultimately, this is just a general guideline. In the end, Norwood is irrelevant because there's something called diffuse thinning. We got the vertex situation going on where you can still go bald anyway. Hairline, completely irrelevant. And as I've mentioned before, this Norwood chart, as far as I'm concerned, is basically for white guys. It's for specifically European guys. If you're a black guy, your hairline is more likely to just go up and back, like a bar just being raised. That's if you're a black guy, you're more likely to fall in that situation. If you're Middle Eastern, you're more likely to have diffuse thinning kind of from the top, and then it kind of spreads like an egg got dropped on you and just made your hair start going away. But your hairline itself may not be bad at all. So it's all about general rules. But in the end, all of it is pointless. It's all meaningless. Because until you recognize that you can handle it at any point in your future, you're going to be carrying that burden with you. Nick Shell does not carry that burden. Even though my last name is Shell, and it's like I have a turtle shell on my back. But no. Nick Shell does not carry that burden. And though it seems unrelated, and probably is, I also believe in forgiving everyone instantly. It's the same thing. Forgiveness is a choice. You get to decide whether you're going to forgive someone. You get to decide whether you are going to be offended or disrespected by anybody else at any point in your life. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. Similarly, though, I think people do that with hair loss. They think as long as I've got a Norwood 1.5 for now, and at age 25 I'll be okay. No, you won't. Because what happens when things change? I was Norwood too at 24 with no diffuse thinning. Now, granted, this is pretty good for age 37.5, but still, you can't bank your future on trying to predict this stuff, because ultimately it's undermining the fundamental part of that. And that is, there are two kinds of men in the world: those who are going to be bothered by the thought of hair loss, whether it actually happens or not, and those who are the same man either way. You know which man I am. Which man are you? That is the ongoing theme of this channel. Your comments are welcome right here.